Hi everybody, it's time for December 2016 Artist Trading Card Challenge. That's for Pick a Stick. That's a Facebook group. It's Pick a Stick Challenge, and the hashtag, if you're looking for it on any other social media, is hashtag PASC ATC 1216. Now the first step is to use gel medium or gesso to create a resist image. So I choose gesso, and I'm just going to put that down on a couple of cards to get going. So I have two cards out here, and I'm using a stencil from Memory Box, and it's just a small one. It's made for a smash book, and I'm just going to get that gesso on there, dry it off, and then I will be back. So my cards are fairly dry now, and to do the resist, I'm going to use some alcohol spray mist that I created. This is Forget-Me-Not. I have Violet, I have Tree Branch, and Ultramarine. So let's see what we get here. I'm just going to spray these lightly. Then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of alcohol. And then where it's raised, it should come up off of those surfaces. So I'm just going to dab. Because it's winter and it's dry, it's drying faster here than I want it to. So I'm having to add a little bit of alcohol and clean off those top surfaces. I want some of that white to show through. So I didn't intend to have to scrub the gesso this much, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Okay, so now I have a Fun Stamper's Journey stamp. It's AT0207 Stay Wild, and it's kind of a rustic scene with pine trees, and so I thought, well, that's about the right size to go on here. It's a little bit big, but I'm going to go with that. I'm going to stamp it a couple of times. Actually, I think I'm going to start with a blue. This is Cobalt. And I'm not going to put it on a block just because I'm stamping on an uneven surface, and I need to push it down into those areas on here. So just going to go for it. I'm going to center it here and see if I can't get an impression. It may be a little splotchy, but we'll take care of that. So I'm just going to stamp both of those with the blue, and then I'm going to come back with a green. I believe it's the leaf green from Archival Ink Ranger brand, and stamp another image just offset on to that background that we've created. It's just layering the trees. What you don't see me do is stamping it on a piece of deli paper and putting another layer on. Okay, so while that is drying, I have a piece of acetate here, and I'm going to use some Azul Midnight Blue Stays On the same stamp once again. Just going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp right here on this piece of acetate in the middle. just like that. I'm going to set that aside to dry, clean off my stamp, and we'll move on to the next step. Next step says use something old. Well, I started thinking about that and some of the things that I have in my stash, and what I came up with was one of the things, one of the first things that I purchased probably 30 years ago was glitter. So I'm going to use that, and I have some Stick-It paper here. This is a Ken Oliver product, and I should have some smaller pieces in here. These come in an 8 by 12 piece. Yeah, there's a piece that's been cut into before. So what you want to do is, this has a peeling place here. So I'm going to start by putting that down in the corner there. And then I'm going to peel this up and lay that piece down, and then I want to put my second piece on. And give that a good rub. Make sure it gets stuck all over. And then I'm just going to cut that out. Actually, I think I'll start up here at the top. I'm going to take, I have one of these little dusting tools from EK, and I'm going to dust that release paper and my background paper here. Just so that all that stuff doesn't stick to everything. Move these other things out of my way. And now I can peel the top layer off of my Stick-It. Guess I should burnish it. It's an uneven surface here. And I'll burnish this one down also. Looks like we have to do a little glue on that corner. But for now, I'm going to take that glitter and sprinkle it on the surface. And shake that off. We'll dump that glitter back in our container. And put the lid on that before I have an accident. And then this one that needs a little bit of glue, I'm just going to take a glue stick to where it didn't catch the corner. And that'll go clear once it dries. So now I'm going to add my acetate to the top of my ATC. To attach the acetate, I'm going to use my eyelet setter. I'm going to punch some holes and use some miniature eyelets in kind of a tarnished silver color to hold that together. And I use those alligator clips, or what do you call it, bull clips, to hold all of the things in place while I get started, because otherwise that acetate will shift around on top. And I'm doing a voiceover just because this gets noisy. That eyelet setter can be quite noisy. So you see there's my clip holding the pieces together, and then I'm going to punch my holes. I have a Nok Out Tool, which helps clean out that tool. The paper gets built up inside. And I'm adding an extra piece of acetate on top just to protect my stamping. So there's 2 layers of acetate. There's 1 layer of deli paper, and then the ATC card with the glitter and everything on it. And yeah, we're putting all of those layers together, so that's a lot. And that's why I think I need the eyelets to hold it all in place. You could use some washi tape or something, but I have quite a few layers and I want to make sure that everything stays put. And then I'm also going to add an extra card on the back with my information just to clean it up and make it neat. I always like to put the ATC information on the back side and tell people what it is that they're holding and how many I made, and you know, all the pertinent information that goes on an artist trading card. Okay, we are ready for step 3, and that is use acrylic paint. So I have chosen to use an acrylic paint pen, which happens to be my Posca pen. These are paint pens. You want to shake them up because the paint settles in there, and I'm going to just put little snowflake dots all over the top of my acetate to simulate snow. Now, if I'd been thinking, I would have put it underneath the top layer of acetate, but yeah, I'm just assembling. So if you do these, put it underneath and in between to sandwich it to protect it. So I decided as long as I had the tools out, I may as well go ahead and attach these brads, using the brads rather than cutting them off and gluing them. I was just going to use some quick dry tacky glue, but I'm going to cover the back side of these anyway, so I can just come in and place them where I want. I'm going to figure out just exactly where I want this on here, and I'm going to make my hole. And I'm going to attach my deer. So that's about it for this year's ATC. Be sure and join us in January as we will be having new things starting next year. I'll give you some final shots so that you can get some close-ups and see what things look like. And I'll have a list down below and some iCards up above. And please like and share. And thanks for stopping by.